Today's May 17th, 2017, 1717. It's the Investitude Podcast with John. What's up, John?
Hey, Andrew. Great to be on with you as always. Thank you for having me, sir.
How'd you like that intro yesterday with the...
with the mea culpa?
Yeah.
Was that Godfather? Was that where it was?
No. I took a Latin confessional, which everything's online now, and then I just mixed a little bit of techno. But yeah, that picture was from The Godfather. I love how Scorsese...
Yeah, I liked it.
Scorsese did Godfather. Was it Scorsese or Coppola? Who did the third one?
I think Coppola was in charge of all of them, but I can't be certain.
Yeah,
but
they had the thing in the middle, so it was kind of like... Anyway, go look at yesterday's podcast thumbnail, and you shall see how cinematography works. So what's got you going today there up in New York?
Well, it was interesting. We had a great show. We had Aaron Brown from UBS. We had Josh Brown, no relation.
Oh,
had,
definitely no relation there. As far as
we
things
had,
go.
We had, let me see, Jim Lebenthal and Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. So it was a good show. Kevin made the very provocative call, and he might be right. But of course, whenever I'm out here in the New York bubble, Andrew, everything about whatever you see on the media matters. By that, I mean, if they're talking Comey and Trump, that's the be-all and end-all. That's what everybody in the world should be talking about. That's it. Even though it might just be the people in the New York Metro that really, and Washington, D.C., that care about it.
So what do you say?
And Kevin's point was, hey, guys, I was just speaking at a conference, small business conference in New Orleans. This is Kevin. He said there were 6,000 small businesses. Said average sales were $1 million a month for these businesses. And they're all saying they're up. They're up. You know, they're up 6%, they're up 9%, blah, blah, blah. No, granted, those aren't the billion-dollar people that we talk about on CNBC, but he said these are successful small businesses. They're doing well. They asked me why we care about all this stuff that we allegedly are supposed to care about. And it is going to be very telling how the rest of America, other than watching the president on Saturday Night Live, played by Alec Baldwin, how the rest of America reacts to what is, this circus out in Washington, D.C., because that's what's going on right now. It's pretty bizarre. And I think a lot of us, Andrew, are mystified by what is indeed going on in Washington, D.C., not only from the president, but also I remember when Clapper and when other security advisors like McMaster have testified on Capitol Hill, and they've said these leakers are breaking the law. But apparently, just like a lot of laws, they don't really care. There's no real, you would think then that they would have, if you knew that there was somebody potentially leaking national security information. Now, the president can declassify anything he wants. We've learned that over the past couple of days if we didn't already know it. But the leakers don't have that benefit. So if somebody is indeed leaking these classified meetings details, they are putting themselves in harm's way as far as being able to be arrested, prosecuted, and so forth. Where is that prosecution, Andrew?
Well,
that would be one of my questions.
I don't know, and all I know is this, because as soon as they said he leaked that information, I was like, I think, and it's just like, you know how you get the BS detector that goes right up, like the red flag, the radar goes on. And I said, I think the president's allowed to do that. And I wasn't sure. It's just a gut reaction. I'm not a constitutional scholar or anything, so I just kind of thought that.
Turns out you're 100% right.
And then the other thing is, too, then I hear this impeachment. And did you see my tweet? I just put out a link to the Wikipedia page on impeachment. The threshold for impeachment is very high. and you need
Yep.
both houses of Congress. So to even say the word
And you
impeachment,
need 67 votes in the Senate.
please, I mean, to say that, to look at somebody and say, "Are you serious?" To forget what side of the aisle you're on, that's a huge threshold. And if you're betting, if you're Ron and Sana, and you're betting on this, and you're getting paid, who the hell pays Ron and Sana money for these predictions? If you're trading off of his advice, I don't know what the hell he does now. I think he's like a consultant, right? If you're trading off that advice, I'm taking the other side of it. I don't even need to take the other side. I've already taken the other side of it because I actually trade. He probably doesn't. But anyway, that's another story. Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I won't.
Anyway,
and Ron, full disclosure, Ron is a friend of mine, so I'm going to leave myself out of this
I
part
know.
of the
I
conversation.
know.
But,
I didn't want to go there.
I do
I can go
happen
there.
to agree that I think he's wrong on this issue.
Yeah, he'll be gone by the end of the year. Okay, yeah, right, whatever. He doesn't even trade, so I don't care. He can say whatever he wants. Speaking of trade, let's stick to trading.
What is the trade based on that, by the way? Because Josh Brown, who's clearly not on the right side, he would be on the left side of the aisle.
Sure.
You know, I have lots of friends on that side too. But Josh Brown made an impassioned statement about be careful, Ron, because if indeed he were to be pushed aside or left of his own volition, the president, that is, President Trump, he made the case, Josh Brown did, I did not, Josh did, that Mike Pence, the vice president who then takes over, would indeed get the Trump agenda through. So if you're somebody that was saying, well, I think this is what's going to happen and Trump's going to be out and the market's going to be down huge, you said, you haven't paid attention to history, apparently.
Careful what you wish for.
Even when JFK was shot, the market went up. Said, what will happen if Mike Pence gets in there and he's not distracted by Twitter and the need to be in the limelight as much as the sitting president needs to be in the limelight and loves to use Twitter.
And don't forget,
Mike Pence would probably get these policies passed, Andrew.
And don't forget, Mike Pence has Jesus and God on his side. So double down on that. There you go. He can invoke the power of... Anyway. I did some trades yesterday. I wrote against my AMD, some of it.
Mm-hmm.
I peeled back a few shares. I'm doing just a few trades. I'm not all over the map. And I'm thinking maybe buy back some more, but I'm not. I'm just going to take it easy on the AMD today. But other than that, I don't have anything else, really.
For me, with the AMD, it was a great trade to buy it on the dip as you did. I bought it as well. And I let a lot go on that big pop.
Yesterday.
And I let, and I let a lot of calls. So I'm 1-to-1 calls to stock now. So I've locked in the gains.
Yeah.
Unless it falls back below 10, and I don't think that's coming. So I like it. But I always say, let's not go back to the same well over and over again. I mean, if an opportunity presents, if it sells off, fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't need to be married to this one. I'm married to a woman who I, don't get to see nearly often enough. But I don't need to be married to my trades. No. I can be in them and out of them. They're not my kids. They're not my wife.
Got it. No. We're just saying this for people that are out there that are wondering, maybe if they listen to this every day, they can get a better idea how we approach things. And it's not necessarily in, 5-10 minute increments or even half-day increments. It's, a day, 2 days, a couple months expiration. So, you got to let things, give them some time to play out. And this is a good example. What else? Anything? You buying or looking at anything?
Well, I did that SBAC, and the reason I did that one was got a big, huge dividend because it's a REIT. They own 25,000 towers between the U.S., Canada, and South America. And with 5G coming and the fact that they've got a big dividend and the yield is down on the 10-year, which makes anything with a big dividend yield more attractive, just like when rates are going up, it makes them less attractive, those big dividend yielding REITs and so forth. In this case, I think a lot of things set up for these guys. So They were buying the 155 calls in September for a stock that was 133.50 when it hit. So I bought those, and I'm 55, which was the exact same trade they put on, whoever the they is, some 10 or 12,000 times, I think. It was a big trade, and I want to follow smart money that does big trades like that. So that's one example, Andrew.
Okay, and before we go, because we're right at 10 minutes, we
Yes.
don't want to take much of anybody's time because we don't have to do an hour with this to get our message across. The VIX, it was low until it's not low. Now it's not low.
Yep.
Now what?
Well, you know, and a lot of people gave me crap on Twitter when I said it's in backwardation. They're looking at the further dated futures and things. I don't know if they're aware of this, but we also trade weekly, you know, as you know, Andrew, because you've reported on it.
Sure.
So there are monthly expirations of the VIX futures, and there are also weeklies. Are there not, Andrew?
Oh, yeah.
Did I miss something?
No.
Well, so those are the ones I'm talking about, and it caught, the VIX did, like 4 or 5 weeks out, the various VIX futures. By caught, I mean yesterday, of course, it was wherever it was, let's say 1060. Today it sprung all the way up to about 1330. So at that level, you can get in there and hammer out that VIX versus the futures that are at 1290 and 13 and 1304 and 1310. In other words, when it's higher than the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week futures, I'm calling that backwardation. People were trying to tell me, a guy who's done this for a long time, that, well, what about the monthlies? I didn't say the monthlies, did I? Did I say the June futures or the July futures or the August futures? But anyway, so that's what's going on with the VIX, Andrew. It did get into backwardation versus the short-dated futures. That may tell us that we're seeing a peak as far as either fear and or panic because of all the news flow that was all negative on Trump overnight.
Okay. Well, we'll end it on that. I just my 2 cents is don't be so certain about people being certain, because there's a lot of people out there that are certain about what they think. So don't be certain about certainty. If that makes sense.
All right. I like it. Well, remember, folks, you can always subscribe on iTunes or through YouTube. You can leave us some comments on either of those sites, either thumbs up or straight out comments. We'd love to hear it, and we will try to dive into the mailbag in the near future and talk to you about your questions. So thank you for tuning in.